First group that have spoken there have answered, so there will be some similarities. We spent a lot of time talking about what our experiences were, which brought out various different bullet points, and then we kind of went back to revisit those and see what the gaps were. One of the things we kept coming back to, and Paul has already talked about that, is the definition of value versus impact. And as he said, we find that there's definitely a need for a common language, so that's obviously going to be a recurring theme. One of our distinctions that we came up with, struggling to remember who it was that did it, I think it was Fran said this maybe, that the value was in one sense why we sought to achieve something, and that the impact was what has actually been achieved, which does have some chiming in with the strategy and the project ideas that you were talking with. We did spend quite a lot of time on language and what different things meant what. So effectiveness versus impact, another kind of distinction in what exactly you're trying to mean by it. This question here, is the evaluation about the learning, or can it just simply be about the experience? And this draws into the distinction sometimes between impact in the sciences as compared with impact in the arts. Sometimes we feel that in the science disciplines it's easier to see something measurable, something that's happened as a result of that research. In the arts, it can just be that someone's had a really good experience with a cultural heritage activity or display or whatever it might be online. And do we always have to say that there has been some sort of learning, some change in behaviour, or can it just be that somebody's enjoyed interacting with that artwork, that artefact, that object, whatever it might be, for a time that they wouldn't otherwise have done? But how on earth do you measure that? So it's a very difficult one to get on top of. Would anyone else from the group like to chip in as to what are some of the key bullet points there? Anyone else?
I think they're enjoying
Right. I think that there are very similar themes, and those are our key points, and I'll probably hand over and let's hear what another group has to say. Okay.
Great.
I think it's very interesting that they were at the core of which both groups was the same thing, and I think it's underpinning a lot of the talks. And for me, at least, it's when we're sometimes obsessed or forced to so much write or talk or convince others about the impact, to try to not forget the why, the value, or convince others to not forget it either, and to be very aware that no matter how well documented some of those metrics or projects are, it's only going to be a very small part of the picture always, so to not forget the why, the value questions.